Along the trails and roadways in Montana, people are looking for an alternative mode of transportation, the bicycle. A Bozeman company is hoping that more and more people will start pedaling, and they have a made in Montana design to get you started.
I've been riding bikes all my life. When I was a kid, I started racing BMX at the age of 8. It's pretty much been the center of my life from the very beginning, just in the sport that I've been involved with. We offer people a custom solution that encompasses not only manufacturing a frame specifically for them in any type of tubing that they want or that they need, but we also build up the whole bike.
We can fit any size person, any size body, any type of riding to any person.
It fits me a lot better, so it means I'm more aerodynamic in general when I'm riding, especially down on the drops. Just corners better.
I've done a ton of fabrication over my complete adult life. After I started to get a good handle on it, I started holding them out for sale to people, and people were asking for them and selling them really cheaply. And then as demand built, I just sort of started to shift my emphasis into more of a production mode, and that's when I sort of made the company. I have a tendency to be really performance-oriented, so I try to make the bike as clean and easy to maintain as possible, and I won't make any sacrifices. We start by interviewing the customer, getting the customer's body measurements, and designing the frame for that customer, both the size of the frame and the types and shapes of tubing that we're going to use. And we order the tubing. When it comes in, we miter it, which is where you cut the joints so the tubes fit flush to one another, where you weld them. We do that on lathes and on a small milling machine that we have. We miter to a very tight tolerance because it's really important to have a tight miter to keep the frame in alignment, keep the welds small, and keep the heat to a minimum when you're welding. Probably the key to a good frame, if you boil it down to one thing, is going to be the miters.
We have 2 frame jigs that we use for aligning the tubes once they're mitered, and then use them for tacking so that angles come out right, lengths come out right. It holds them in place so that bang, when you weld them on, they come out fairly straight.
We have an alignment table that we put the frame on that's true to 1/1000th of an inch, and then we use dial indicators to indicate off of this surface, and we align it all to within 1/1000th of an inch. Then we'll weld it. After it's welded, built, aligned, then we put all the brazed on parts that hold your cables and your water bottles and all the different pieces. After that, we do finish work where we clean it up, make everything look nice and smooth. And then currently we're sending them all out of state to California to be painted by a company called Cycle Fantasy. They're probably the best in the industry right now, although we have plans to start painting ourselves in the next year or so. The amount of work that goes into a bike is between 10 and 20 hours, generally. We produce about 100 a year. I guess ultimately what I'd like to see is, I'd like to see us producing about 1,000 frames a year, and developing enough revenue so that we can pursue cutting-edge technologies and be able to afford the resources necessary to do that, whether it be expertise or tools and equipment.
It'd be great if we could get some production runs out there, start approaching sort of just the next step down in the market. We're kind of at the really high-end Gucci right now.
I guess the things that convinced me to buy a frame from Carl, part of the reason was because it's custom. I was able to get a bike that fits me. It was built for me. I also know Carl personally, and it's a Montana company, so I was really glad to be able to support his business. He's a local racer and a good friend.
I like to keep it as a very elite brand. We're not in this to get rich, but we would like to be able to just build the best bikes on the planet, basically.
What would Montana be like without our cowboy past? Well, a Billings company hopes to preserve the past with a cowboy hat that will last you long into the future.
Confidence, style.